Disclaimer. We are not professionals. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence and enjoy the video.
You are now watching Veve Vision. Vision.
What's going on, guys? Veve Vision back with another video. Today we're going to be talking basically about a beginner's guide and how to get started on the Veve app. So
yeah, we're just going to go through some basic points. The first point we wanted to talk about is initial investment, because at least when I first heard about it, I was kind of skeptical and reluctant to put any money, like any real money, into an app that I wouldn't be able to take my money out of. And obviously, this is supposed to come in the future, just like a lot of other things. But yeah, so with initial investment, I think if you want to play it as safe as possible, like I guess it's best for us to look at it as if we're beginners. So what would you do if you're starting like blank right now?
I think the first thing you should do, if there's no drops coming anytime soon, I think you should like download the app and just like look at all the stuff and look at what ones you'd actually like consider keeping. Don't look at like for flip potential or anything like that. Just like look at ones that you actually like.
Yeah, that's a really good point that I forgot. But when you're looking to buy things, don't just buy them to flip like that. I think that's a really important part. And even though like you can definitely flip, and there's probably people who've been really successful flipping, if you end up with something that you're trying to flip and you absolutely hate it and you wasted most of your money on it, it's just, you're not going to have a good time. Okay. Whereas if you buy things that you can see yourself holding regardless of flipping, I think it's a lot better, because then, even if you're not able to sell it initially, you're happy with the purchase and you can hold it until you will be happy with the possible like sale you could make. So I think that's definitely a big point. Carter, you got anything else for initial investment?
Nope.
Starting blank?
Nope.
All right. I think when you do get into it, I think the kind of safest play you can go with recently is the comics, because comics are going crazy right now. I don't know how long they'll stay like this, if they'll kind of maintain this craze, but it's go ahead.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. Right at the top, you hit, because I didn't really realize how to find the comics at first.
Yeah.
So at the top, you just hit this little button, and then you can switch between collectibles or comics.
Yeah, that definitely helps, because I've seen a lot of stuff on Reddit about beginners struggling to get into the comic section. So yeah, I would recommend starting with comics. Top of the tab, click the digital collectibles, like Carter said, switch it to comics. And I think they're going to stay consistent with comic drops on Tuesdays and Thursdays from now on. And you got to figure out the time for you, but just look on Veve's Twitter or their Medium page, and they'll usually release the drop information one day prior to the drop, maybe even a little earlier.
Also, if you just hit digital comics at the top, it should, if there's a drop coming within 24 hours, it'll be at the top, and then you can just click it and see the countdown to know exactly when it's going to be for your time.
Yeah. And when it is drop day, I'd recommend going into the comic, finding the one that isn't sold out, the one that is dropping that day, click on it and watch the timer count down to like 0. And I don't know other people's strategy on this, but I usually don't go in. I'll like check the time just to see how long there is, and then I'll back out and I'll wait to re-click the comic until like 1 to 2 minutes before the drop, and then I'll get in and I'll just watch it count down from like 60 seconds or however long. And then as soon as it hits 0, wait for it to change to the buy now button. And as soon as that pops up, just press the buy now button as quick as you can and press it once. I wouldn't spam, because if you end up like over clicking and Xing out, it's going to be a tough day. But yeah, and overall, I think comics, I think they have the greatest potential right now just because the most recent comic drops, even though there's still 30,000 mints, the commons have been selling for more than double the price right after drops. So if you're looking
And
to
they're only
get into,
$7.
yeah, it's like the cheapest price to get in at. And I mean, to be able to double your money, even if you get a common, is a great place to start, I think. And then there's the possibility of you getting an uncommon. You could maybe sell it for like 50 immediately. There's a chance of you getting a rare. You could sell it for probably like 200 immediately. I feel like those are like the prices they've been sitting at. But then if you get a secret rare, you could literally, I mean, you could hold that long term because you still bought it for $7. But if you need money to buy other collectibles, like Carter was saying, look through the market, even if you don't have money, and find things that you're interested in holding long term and stuff like that. Then, if you end up scoring a secret rare, that's at least like minimum 1K. That's $7 to 1K. And now you could sell that immediately and most likely buy the majority of things you're going to want. I mean, there's definitely exceptions, but I mean, Todd Mack, one of them. But
Also on like drops, if there's like a drop coming and you don't know how much you like, because sometimes drops are going for, and this is just for collectibles or comics, but mostly collectibles. Say the drop's going for like 20 gems and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to resell for anything more than 20 or like say 50. Change it. Let's do it for the Throgs, for example. They're going for 50. Usually you'd like compare it to like, okay, what other drop is kind of like that? And let's see how many mints that has. And let's see what those are going for. And then do I think the Throgs are cooler than that drop or not cooler than that drop? And then is it the first appearance or is it not the first appearance?
Yes, definitely look at all of those things. Pay attention to even like the year it was made, because if you end up with a mint number of the year it was made, that's I mean, like we'll get into this next, but yeah, definitely pay attention to stuff like Carter said, first appearance, comparing, like doing appraisals basically and looking at the other similar drops and like prices they're going for. Like track, you can go shout out Butt Thompson, shout him out pretty much every video, but you can go to his spreadsheet and track prices. And so you can literally track, oh, this comic has similar number of mints, like same brand, blah, blah, blah. And this is the like trajectory it had after drop in terms of prices. Maybe we can expect the same thing for this drop. And so I definitely think it's good to note all of that. And I do think it's good, like Carter was saying, to just spend time on the app and get comfortable with just how it works, because it is kind of weird. And once you get the hang of it, it just definitely helps out and can help you and prevent you from like making some big mistakes.
Also, right when you like get a drop, make sure you look at the mint number. Don't sell it right away before you look at the mint number. Because if you pull a good mint number, and we'll go like into this further in the next video of mint numbers and what's considered good or what we think is considered good. But like if you think your number is even like semi good, if you like just like by looking at it, you should tell a little bit if you think it's good. But
I saw
they can go for so like so if you pull one that's like 0.070, like if it's in like the tens of like the very first beginning mints, you can sell for like $500 instantly, no matter what it is, pretty much,
even if it's a really cheap one. So definitely pay attention to that. And like we said, we'll probably make another video on this, but just look into like Reddit or really anywhere you can to learn about the community and how they feel about mint numbers, because mint numbers you might think are cool, other people might not think are cool. And like I personally feel this way, like the mint numbers that I feel like are somewhat different from the majority of the community and like the mint numbers they prefer. And so just for a quick overview, when selling, if you have anything that's like sub 1,000, sub 100, it's probably considered a pretty good mint number. It probably has more value than the rest of them. If you have repeats like 4444 or 3322
or 1234.
There I even saw someone buy a 42069, and at first I was like, that is a terrible mint, and then I was like, you might be onto something, because if there's someone else out there who wants to buy a 42069 and they value it the same way, then that, I mean, It's all subjective in the end, but yeah.
Also, if you're ever like looking, if you like, for whatever reason, if you have a bunch of collectibles and like you need money, like if something like your car breaks down or something, then you can always go on to like the Facebook forums and like what were you talking about? How you could sell on to?
I think it's Telegram.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it, but I've heard people sell
Yeah,
gems
I've
and
heard
buy
about that
gems.
too.
Yeah.
So go on to one of those. I'm in a Facebook group. I'm in the VV marketplace, I think it's called, and then just a VV collectibles on Facebook. And like people will be selling gems or like buying gems in there for like a usually like 85% of what the value is, but at least you can get your money out if you really need it.
Yeah. In addition to that, we'll get into that type of stuff towards the end of the video as well. But general tips for selling besides just mint number. Before you sell anything, don't just post, like, do not just blindly post it for a price. Go into the marketplace, look at the floor, which is the lowest price for that collectible, and place it at that. If you have a better mint number, go into the filter for the collectible you have and scroll through to see the different mint numbers. And wherever, like, say you have 0800, so 800, the 800th mint. Go through, scroll through and see like where 700 is sitting, see where 900 is sitting. And then yours will probably fall in between those two in terms of price. If it's right after drop and you have a really good mint number, I would probably hold it just to be safe, because I feel like that's when people start sniping mint numbers, is right after drop, when inexperienced people just post randomly. But yeah, I always check the floor before you post a listing. And I see listings all the time. This is like one of the biggest things that I feel like irks me. And I don't know if Carter feels the same way, but post it right below the floor. Like if it's sitting at like 200, don't post it at like 190. You're just selling yourself short when you don't have to. Like, yes, someone will buy that, but if someone really wants to buy it, they'll buy it at 199.99 as well. Like, most likely they're not going to not buy something because it's like not low enough for them. That's just like, I don't know. I don't see things working that way. How do you feel about that, Carter?
Yeah. I honestly don't really know what you said that much. I was kind of trying to pull up my Superman.
I was saying, like, when you list something for like 10 gems.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. That's
like, list it at like
a penny
99 cents.
cheaper.
Yes. Yeah. A penny cheaper or $1 cheaper. But I would honestly just go with the penny, because people buy the floor, and it might come down to mint numbers. But like I said, if it's like, they're not going to care that much. If you really want to buy something, you're going to buy it. And so you're just going to rip yourself off if you're like listing things at like $5 to $10 or gems below the floor price. And I don't know, I feel like it's just inexperienced people making these, like, new people to the app, like, doing this, or it could be people who like bought it, randomly posted it at a number they felt like might be good, and then just never looked at the listing again. I've kind of done stuff like that, and I've definitely learned from it, because just don't do it. It'll come back to bite you in the behind. I think
a good way to kind of avoid that too is just never put your account at 2 gems.
Yeah.
Like Ben did. Just now.
Yeah. Don't
just like always have backup gems so you don't have to like rush into selling anything, because that's when you take the biggest L's usually.
Yeah, that's why I've been taking the most L's lately, is because my account is very low and I'm trying to move things around to get some gems ready for upcoming drops and other things I want. So yeah, we were kind of, I can't remember if I mentioned this even, because we've been talking about a bunch of stuff, but if you invest like $100 initially, and you really are worried about just your investment in general, try to make back the 100 and just set it aside. Don't go below 100. I haven't followed that rule, but that's because I'm more confident in my investments. But if you are kind of worried about that, that's what I did in the beginning. I invested like 140 or something like that, or like less than $200. And I always kept my account above that. So when like gem to fiat came out, I could just pull out that money, and it was just gems that I had naturally kind of like snowballed through, like participating in the app or like just working with the marketplace. So we talked about comic book drop tips. I want to get into regular drop tips because there's blind boxes. Not much to that. Just be there on time, and as soon as the button comes out, click buy now. What are your like recommendations for drop tips with different like rarities where you can kind of select the rarity, the price, and there's like the lower mint number and everything?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of just have to like know how much hype there is around a collectible, and if you know you want to get like the whole set, especially like the whole set, probably don't go for the ultra rare because you're probably not going to get it if it's a low mintage. So maybe go
Yeah.
for the rare and like know for sure you're going to get that, and then go out and buy the ultra rare. I mean, you're not going to get as much profit that way, but it's just the safer bet instead of not getting anything and having to go through and buy all of them.
Yeah, right after it drops, there's always fluctuation. I heard someone say this perfectly the other day. I can't remember who, but it always takes like a day or two for things to find the marketplace where they kind of like belong, I guess, based on like the demand. And so, yeah, I would agree with that. I would either try for the ultra rare and go big or go home on that, or go for the rare and then try to find the ultra rare when it's at like a low point. And then sometimes even the commons and uncommons go for below floor price. So this is another thing. Like Carter said, know the hype. And if there isn't a lot of hype, and if you see on a drop like the Super Women or whatever, like DC Supergirls or whatever that was, Catwoman and somebody else like didn't sell out. So if you're getting into the app and you're like, oh, I want this, don't buy it from the store if it's not on drop day, because the only things that have like demand long term are those that sell out within like a second. If it doesn't sell out within like the first within the first couple minutes, really, it's kind of, I would stay away from that and steer clear. And if it doesn't sell out by the time the market opens up, then I would really steer clear, and I would just go to the market and buy it instead, because you're just going to be ripping yourself off at that point, because most likely people are going to be posting or listing collectibles below the like retail price. So you got anything else on drop tips? I've stopped going for ultra rares or secret rares just because I don't think I have good enough internet connection. If you want tips, other tips for drops, Granola Warfare is really good. Veve Vault is really good. Shout out to those two. I feel like most channels get into it that I know. Like, I don't know about Cavell Anderson, but maybe Taps Trade. Yeah, I don't think so. But Thompson might get into that stuff. But yeah, go to those people. They have like lists of tips to look at. We might do something like that in the future, but yeah, in general, just kind of feel out the rarity and the demand for everything. You got anything?
No, I don't think so.
I would just say, in general, think long term, especially if you're making profits or just investments with like some gems you made off of profits. Think long term, because like if you watch our most recent L video, the L's I've been taking are because I was thinking short term and looking for a quick flip, just to like get gems for something else. And so it's going to help you out a lot more if you're thinking long term, for like long term holding and investments. The last thing I want to talk about, which Carter kind of touched on, is getting into this. Veve is like all about community, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not in the community. And like, that's part of why we do these videos, is to like just interact with the community and like meet new people, talk to new people, hear different opinions about different stuff. So Reddit, Facebook, Telegram, follow Veve on Twitter, follow David Yu on Instagram, follow Veve on Instagram. Just, you just got to get into the community. There's Discord. I'm not big on Discord, but I know that's really popular for other people. But yeah, I mean, just get involved with something like that so you're aware of upcoming news. People might drop tidbits or gems for you, like, oh, look at this. It's this number of mintage. It's slept on. You might want to go buy this. Like they might not even be pumping. It's just a community where they kind of like tell you, they just look out for one another. I feel like, I don't know. Do you have anything about that?
No, I definitely agree with that though.
Yeah. And then the last thing is just like keep up to date with news. Like like the people we shouted out earlier. Just I would just kind of keep up to date with the news. Veve's Twitter is like the bare minimum, or their medium. Just follow those for the drops, but I would definitely look into like news sources. We provide like updates and news, but there's also others. I mean, yeah, community and news are definitely a major part. Just keep up to date and know what's coming and when. Demand, like Carter was saying. But yeah, I think, go ahead. Oh, I see. Do your thing, Carter. Do your thing.
If you like the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified whenever we post. Drop a comment down below if you need any questions answered, if you're a beginner and just don't understand anything or want our opinion on a certain collectible that you're looking at. Other than that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Let's go. Homies, let's go. Let's go.